connecting the roads of rural Nevada. Presented by the Nevada Rural Transit Association and sponsored by the Nevada's Governor's Council on Developmental Disabilities.
Welcome to Nevada Rural Transit Association's Preparing for Travel Training. This video is part of a series that teaches the Natural Support Team the skills to teach travel training to people in their circle of care. In the previous video, we discussed community helpers, taking a transportation inventory, and the travel training assessment. In this video, we're going to discuss barriers. There are several types of barriers that could delay a person's progress in travel training, and unless they are cataloged, so to speak, which will allow you to take a proactive approach to a solution. Now, this video will refer to the travel training assessment as if it is complete. However, you may be finishing it along with the assistance of the videos. If that is the case, make it your goal to complete the assessment by the end of Chapter 3. The first thing we're going to discuss is a barrier analysis. A barrier analysis is the broad overview of three more detailed areas: environmental, physical, and social barriers. The barrier analysis is preparing you to look for what could become or may already be a barrier to your student. In other words, it is being familiar with the most likely path of travel and the physical and social barriers of the student. Sometimes the route itself may be the biggest barrier to traveling independently. The trainee may live too far from a bus line, or the location of the bus stop might be in an unsafe place. Some other factors to consider are the amount of walking required for the trip, the length of the trip, any number of transfers, the hours of operation of the service, and even steep or uneven terrain in the path of travel. It is critical for the travel trainer to know the route before training begins, which includes trip planning, which could use the web, the telephone, or even a physical map and schedule. Writing the entire route, checking for landmarks, detours, or route deviations. In demand response service, what information will the transit agency need to schedule the needed trips? Conducting an environmental barrier analysis and identifying physical and social barriers. Now, environmental barriers are the barriers in the actual path of travel. The travel trainer should observe pedestrian facilities and the streets leading to and away from the bus stop. They need to notice where the sidewalks exist and whether there are any obstacles to walking safely. When completing the analysis, it's important to know if the trainee is ambulatory or uses a mobility device. You need to note the curb cuts, uneven sidewalks, or other obstacles within the environment, which is essential to creating a route that is barrier-free. By identifying barriers prior to training, the travel trainer will be prepared to problem solve for a solution. Determining the safety and accessibility of the path of travel requires careful review. If concerns are identified that cannot be reasonably solved, determine if there are alternative routes to take. Now, documenting the existence and location of problem areas may result in increased leverage if you're making a case for improvements to your local jurisdictions. Now, physical barriers are barriers that exist within one's own body. A physical barrier may include, but is not limited to, vision, hearing, mobility, speech, multiple health concerns, cognitive abilities, or stamina. A trainee must have the stamina to complete the planned route. Careful analysis prior to training must take into account the trainee's stamina, the terrain of the path, and any rest stops. It may also include having oxygen, medication, or even food and water needed to complete the trips. Now, a social barrier may include an inability to be around other people and maintain a set of appropriate social skills. When conducting an analysis on the transit route, identify traffic patterns of people. This can be done by observing the route while riding the bus and talking to the operator or other bus riders. It's important to note the trainee's concerns and help the trainee solve any problems. Some trainees may want to avoid certain intersections or transit centers. Others may not feel comfortable riding the bus at certain times, for instance at school dismissal times. During the travel training assessment, you will be able to identify many, if not all, of these barriers. These will be good to identify when setting goals and designing your course. You will learn more about these barriers during the actual training, so be prepared to modify your course accordingly. And now that you understand the different types of barriers, move on to Chapter 3C, where you will learn about understanding fears and emotions and making safe choices.